Jake. Go Cookie. Go. Up the Rabbitohs.
Guys, and welcome back to AdosTheGreat YouTube channel. So guys, in today's video I will go over how I went in round 17, and then I'll be giving you my tips for round 18. Very excited to jump in and talk about the footy this weekend. As you know, I record these videos on Sundays. Most of them will go up on Sunday afternoon. However, today I'm going to have to upload tomorrow morning due to how late it is after the final game. So this will get uploaded Monday morning, guys, probably around 8-9 p.m. Queensland time. So without further ado, let's get into it. My round 17 results. So Bulldogs beat the Sharks. I backed in the Bulldogs by 4 points in this one. Thought they'd get it done. I thought it'd be a very close game, which it was. The Dogs got up by 1 point. Matt Burton, very clutch in this game, knocked down a field goal in extra time. The Sharkies, look, it sucks for Nico because I don't think he deserves, all the flack he's copping. But man, it's tough. Like, Birdo proved he was clutch in this game. Hines sort of fell out a little bit, so it's disappointing for Nico. But I tell you what, man, Dogs fans, I'll be proud of this win. Very strong win and a tip right for me. Next up, I backed in the Warriors to beat the Broncos. Tipped the Warriors 1-12 in this one. I got the tip right. Only 37% of people agreed with me. However, did not get my margin in this one. I thought the Broncos weren't too bad. I think that the Warriors just ran away with it at the end there. It was fairly even for the most part of this game, but Warriors, they wanted it more, and I thought going back to New Zealand after that big loss last week, they owed their fans something, and I think they delivered. All right, next up, Knights Eels, a game that I think most people had going either way. I backed in the Knights 1-12 here at home. Thought they'd get the job done here at home, which they did. Ended up winning 34-26 in this one, so an 8-point win. Got the margin right, but yeah, very, very entertaining game of footy. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And that's 3 tips in a row. You love to see it. Next up, I backed in the Melbourne Storm to beat the Raiders 13+. We all know how tough and gritty the Raiders play against the Storm. However, I thought Storm would really be up for this game. They got the job done. I got my tip right, did not get the margin. But yeah, disappointing result for both sides in my opinion. And you might be going, mate, Storm won. They're sitting at the top of the ladder. What are you talking about? I really thought Storm would have put the Raiders to the absolute sword in this one. But to the Raiders' credit, while yes, it's disappointing to lose, I thought they were brave in this one. They were resilient. And yeah, I thought they played pretty well. All right, next up is the Sunday ticket. So the first game, Dragons, Dolphins at Netstrata Jubilee Stadium. Thought the Dolphins would win this one, man. I really did. Unfortunately, this is the first tip I got wrong. Dragons way too good in this one, winning this 26-6. They were incredible. Yeah, not too much more to touch on with that. Like, well, the Dolphins were okay in patches, but the Dragons were clinical, man. And Ben Hunt was a big reason for that. Thought Jaden Sewer had a really good game. Needed to, in my opinion, after the Origin. So, yeah, good result for the Dragons. A bit disappointing for the Dolphins, but they'll be fine. All right, next up, Panthers against the Cowboys. This one was interesting. So both sides heavily dismantled by Origin. So the Panthers had Isaiah Yeo, I believe, was the only player backing up. Cowboys actually had nobody backing up. And I see a lot of people saying, oh, the Cowboys only won because the Panthers rested their players. Cowboys rested more, I think, than the Panthers, because Panthers had Ta'o, Martin, Luai. I think that's it. 3. Panthers had 3 rested. Cowboys had Nanai, Holmes, Robson. Who else did they have? I can't even think, but that's already 3. There's definitely more. Talangi, Cowboys rested more, and they still got the job done here. So credit to them, man. I thought they played really, really well in this one. All right, next up, Roosters over the Tigers. I did say Roosters would win this one 13 plus. I thought it would be an absolute cricket score. To the Tigers' credit, I think they lost 3 plays to the sin bin. All wrongdoing by them, so they absolutely deserved it. But I thought the Roosters would win this one 62 to 10 or something, but 40 to 6, not a good effort, but I thought this would be a lot worse, especially with plays in the bin. So I thought the Tigers were quite resilient in this game, but Roosters just too good. All right, round 18, here we go. Starting off with the best game of the round, in my opinion. It sucks it's on a Thursday night because I have the early open shift for my my server here in Queensland, so I'll probably be pulling an all-nighter to attend that shift, but it is what it is. I think, look, Rabbitohs, they've won 6 of their last 8 games at CommBank Stadium. They won earlier this year, 42 to 26. Pretty good performance there as well. Form-wise, Rabbitohs have won 4 in a row. Eels have lost 3 in a row, so pretty disappointing there for the Eels. The stat that is somewhat alarming, Rabbitohs have only won 43% of games played at CommBank. Eels have won 62. Now, I know the Eels, this is their home ground, but I am a little bit nervous about that stat. Now, obviously, Rabbitohs, they're humming at the moment. They get their origin stars back. Eels coming off a pretty disappointing loss to the Knights. I think the Rabbitohs can make this 5 in a row. Very, very... I think it'll be a lot closer than the last one, so I'm going to say a 10-point win here. If it'll let me put my bloody 0 in, it won't. I don't know why that's not doing that, but that's all good. There we go. Rabbitohs by 10. That's what I'm predicting there. I don't know. I'm very hopeful. I am hopeful. I do think that we can win this game 13 plus, and I would love them to do that, but I'm going a bit safer, going that 10-point margin. I think we'll see some brilliance there from Trell Mitt. All right, next up, we've got the Sharkies against the Titans. Cronulla have won 7 of their last 7 games against the Titans. Where are we? It's played at Coffs Harbour, to be honest. So I don't know if the Titans have ever played at this venue because they've got a 0% win rate here. The Sharks have got a 100% win rate. I don't know how many games each side has played at this stadium, but Cronulla, they've played 26 games against the Titans, won 17, so they do have a very good record against the Gold Coast Titans. And look, to be honest, at Coffs International Stadium, I do have Cronulla winning this one. I'd be very surprised if they lost this game. I think they will be too good there for the Titans. All right, next up, we've got the Penrith Panthers taking on the Brisbane Broncos. Now, this game is being played at Suncorp Stadium. Broncos should welcome back all their origin players. Panthers, I doubt Cleary's back, but I am hearing little rumours that he might be thrown on the extended bench in the team named this week. And if he comes back, then boy, oh boy, that is very interesting for the Panthers. Out of the last 8 games, Broncos have won 2. Roosters. Panthers have won 6. Wins at Suncorp. Broncos 59%. Panthers not too far behind with 55%. So pretty close there. Obviously, Panthers have won the last 3 games against the Broncos, winning in round 3 this year, the grand final, then beating them in round 12 last year. So look, I can't see. I'm sorry, I can't see the Broncos winning this one. I can't. I know they'll get players back, but I can't see them getting the job done here. All right, next up, we've got the Warriors against the Bulldogs. This one should be entertaining. The Warriors have had the wood over the Bulldogs, winning 6 of their last 6 games over the last 5 years. Pretty decent margins in most of them as well. However, the Bulldogs do have a 54% win rate at a core stadium. Warriors only have a 42% win rate. Over the last 4 weeks, Bulldogs have won 4. Over the last 5 weeks, the Dogs have won 4 of their last 5. Warriors have won 3 of their last 5. 2 of those games, however, against Melbourne and the Gold Coast Titans. were very much one-sided affairs. I think the Dogs win. I don't think it'll be a big margin, though. I think they'll keep it quite close. But whilst the Warriors have won 6 of their last 6 games against the Dogs, I do think the Bulldogs, I think they'll be up for this game. At a core stadium as well. Like, they're a different team this year. They really are. All right, next up we got the West Tigers against the Melbourne Storm. Wins at this ground, ironically, at Leichhardt Oval, the Tigers have won 56%. Storm have only won 40%. In saying that, Storm have won the last 6 games against the Tigers, and again by pretty big margins there. Storm have won 4 on the trot this season, and the Tigers before this weekend had won 2 in a row and then got absolutely tailed up by the Roosters. I do think this will be another big score for the Melbourne Storm. I think they'll be a bit annoyed after that performance against the Raiders, and I think they will come back with a massive win over the Tigers. All right, next up, we've got the Cowboys against Manly. Cowboys won the last 2 games against Manly, but prior to that, Manly had won all 4 games against the Cowboys. And ironically, according to NRL.com, the Manly Sea Eagles have won every game played at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. So they love playing up there. Look, I think this will be a very, very good game, but I do think Manly do get the win in this one, just based off previous form. And the Cowboys, they played well this week. They did. But I'm going Seagulls in this one. I know it's a bit controversial there, but I think Manly can win. All right, next up we've got the Roosters against the Dragons. Now the Roosters will more than likely be without Joseph Manu. Dragons, I think they'll welcome back Zach Lomax. Roosters will, obviously be without Joey Manu. Roosters tailed them up earlier this year. However, they've won 8 of the last 10 games against the Dragons, the Roosters. They've got a very good record at Allianz Stadium, as you would already know. Pretty similar on form. Dragons have won 3 of their last 5 games. Roosters have won 4 of their last 5. So I think this will be an entertaining clash. But I am going to back in the Roosters here. I just think they'll be too good at Allianz. I can't see the Dragons really doing too much there. All right, and to wrap it all up, we've got the Raiders against the Knights in probably the closest game in terms of odds. These 2 teams have played 47 games against each other, and Knights have won 23, Raiders 22. There's been 2 draws. At this venue, Raiders 58% win rate and the Knights 29%. In the last 5 years, Raiders have won 4 of 9 games against the Knights, meaning the Knights have won 5 of 9 games against the Raiders. Both sides really struggling at the moment. Knights got a good win over Parramatta. Prior to that, they won against the Gold Coast Titans in round 11. 3 losses in a row between that. The Raiders have lost 3 games in a row to the Cowboys, Tigers, and then this week, Melbourne. I do think the Raiders bounce back in this one, though. Well, I'm going to back in the Raiders, mainly because I think the Knights, if Kalen Ponga doesn't return, I think that the Knights will probably struggle this week. But, I don't know. This game's definitely one that could go either way. I'd say this is probably the hardest one to tip this weekend. However, based on form at GIO Stadium, it should be the Raiders winning this one. It's over the last 5 games, the Raiders have won 3 of their last 5 against the Knights. So, look, I think that game's probably going to be the hardest one to tip this weekend. But let me know, who are you backing this weekend? Before we go, guys, I will ask you to hit that like button and subscribe. But let's go over the tips. I'll give you my margin and I'll give you an anytime try scorer. So Rabbitohs 1-12 over Parramatta on Thursday night. Latrell Mitchell, anytime try scorer. Sharks, I'm going to go 1-12. I think the Titans will keep it relatively close. And And I'm going to go Nico Hines to score anytime. I think he's in for a massive game. Panthers Broncos, I do think this one is another close one as well. 1-12, I do think Brian To'o scores anytime here against the Broncos. Bulldogs, Warriors, this one's 1-12 as well in my opinion. And I'm going to go with Stephen Crichton to score anytime. Storm Tigers, I think Storm win this one 13+. I think Ali Katoa scores for the Storm. Manly 1-12 over the Cowboys, and I'm going to go with Olakau'atu to score for the Seagulls anytime. All right, the Sunday games, Roosters 1-12 over the Dragons. I am going to go Dom Young anytime try scorer, and then Raiders 1-12 over the Knights. And for this one, I think Xavier Savage has a bounce back game. Big game this weekend for Savage, in my opinion. And I'm going to go Savage to score anytime. Let me know your tips down below, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And as always, my friends, I will see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.